Hey guys, it's Chris Mincola with the Mincola Group over at West USA Realty, and I'm giving you your weekly market update. I want to run through a few things for you real quick here and take a look at what's going on in the market. So let's take a look at, first of all, I wanted to show you February of 2022 versus February of 2021. Closings were down 3%. Okay. Median price is up 27%. We went from 359 to 455 in that median range. That's 359,000 to 455,000 in the median price range. So up 27%. And we're 1%, we're running at 1% above the list price per square foot for whatever the list price is. That's where the actual sales price is hitting at right now, 1% above where we've been. So for the Crowford report, basically they're saying that it is the season for prices to go up, of course, always, during spring into summer. A cooling trend is absolutely minuscule, almost undetectable in the indexes that they use to show that a slowing's happening. There may be a few buyers dropping out at lower price points because prices have gone up along with interest rates that have brought us up around 41% total. But it's still very competitive, and it's going to remain that way through the spring going into the summer. The chances of a market going in reverse in 2022 is currently zero. Okay. So, and I'm going to talk about this in a little bit more detail, but the average price jumps will blow your mind in some of these zip codes from March of 2019 to 2022. Okay. So here's some zip codes, just a few in Phoenix, Cave Creek area. Phoenix 85028. We've got right now 2.268 $2,268,556 compared to in March of 2019, 661,000 and some change. And zip code 85331 in Cave Creek, we've got $1,855,313 versus where we were at in 2019 of 874,324. And in Phoenix zip code of 85004. And again, these are just a few that they highlighted in the Crowford report, which is our guru access to our MLS, where they kind of give us all the data and trends that are happening in the market. In the 85004, Phoenix, we were looked at $1,187,500 currently, and in 2019 we were at 425,600. So huge jumps in what we're looking at there. Now, again, the Crowford report gives us what's called the CMI. That's the Crowford Market Update, Crowford Market Index. And a balanced market is 190 or lower is a buyer's market, and then a 110 or higher is a seller's market on their index numbers. So today we are at 467.6. Now that's a slight shift down again by a couple of points, about 2 or 3 points from the last time we spoke, but that's pretty minuscule. Again, anything over 110 is a seller's market. So we're still in a super seller's market. The slight trends down are pretty much undetectable. And again, a lot of this has to do with prices going up and with interest rates going up. Also, we have supply at 24.4. That is 75% supply below normal. And again, 100 is normal. And then demand would be currently at 114.1. So 14% above normal. And, at the beginning of the year, we were at 125 in the beginning of 2022. So rates and prices have affected this a little bit, but again, it's purely a supply and demand issue, just like anything else that we're talking about. So guys, we hear a lot about, there's going to be a bubble. There's going to be a bubble. Well, right now in the Phoenix market, there's no indication of there being a bubble. Number one, we've got the higher regulations than we, better and more strict regulations on lending than we used to have. Plus, everybody has a ton of equity. Even if they bought a home 6 months to a year ago, they have tons of equity, tons of equity. Most people are just sitting there with all this equity. Okay. But here's a few things to think about. And, the inflation part is a little scary. And hopefully they don't bust the dollar with all their spending and borrowing like crazy people. But here's something to keep in mind, as far as inflation and the housing market. Okay, this is the reality. Yes, rates are going up, but they're still historically low. Right now, we're running in the high threes to low fours, depending on the day and the week and all that. Yes, prices for the most part in America are more expensive than they've ever been. Yes, it can be scary to see where prices are today versus 10 years ago. However, we also have to kind of look at the idea that 40% of all the US dollars in circulation were printed in the last 2 years. That money has to go somewhere. Much of the inflationary effects of the last 2 years are showing up in higher housing prices. Okay, so these inflationary things that are happening, or these inflationary forces, are likely going to be going, aren't going anywhere. Okay, for a while. Do you really think, for instance, do you really think we're going to get a magically less expensive anywhere anytime soon, especially in an area like this where we have low supply and high demand, almost 100,000 people a year moving here to the Phoenix area, metropolitan area in Arizona. Okay, people are making more money than they've ever made before. You've probably heard there's worker shortages, or you see ads begging for entry-level workers at fast food places for like $17 an hour plus $500 sign-on bonuses and so on, or even more. So, we got to understand that prices and wages are rising, and we should expect the same for the cost of housing. Also, keep in mind, we can look at one, simple chart that I've got. I don't have it handy right now, but I'm going to post it on all our social media. I'll get it out in the emails and stuff that we send out every week. So go to our Facebook page and Instagram, and we'll have it up there. But you can go back to Economics 101, again, to really understand the idea that, why property values likely aren't going to go down and will probably continue to go up, if we just simply understand that limited supply, which we have right now, which is a lot different than the crash, again, besides the regulations I talked about earlier, limited supply plus an increase in demand always exerts upward pressure on prices. Just, again, just take a look at the graph I'm going to put up and make, your own assessment. But as make sure you go like our Facebook, Instagram pages, and check us out on YouTube also. But as we see, population has grown rapidly in the U.S., especially here in the Phoenix metropolitan area. The number of available homes for sale and that are being constructed, new construction, have actually gone down. Okay, so we have fewer homes, more people. It means it's likely we will continue to see rising home prices. Okay, it's just simple logic, simple mathematics, simple supply and demand. Okay, and where we are in this current market, again, hyper local Phoenix metropolitan area, especially with a strong economy and people moving here and people wanting jobs, and then there be a shortage of jobs and a shortage of housing. So that leads to all these prices going up, wages growing up. So as things go up, people are also in this point right now getting these raises that we're seeing because we have kind of this employee shortage. Now, over time, will things level out? Eventually, things will level out. But are we going to have a bubble like 2008? I just don't see it. The Cromford report doesn't see it. They've been tracking things since the 80s. So, guys, I think, in our MLS and our multiple listing service where everything's bought and sold. So guys, just keep those things in mind. We kind of can't fight the numbers or make things happen that happened in the past just because we think it's the same, because it's just not. So if you have any other questions, again, check out our social media here in the next, few hours or day or so for that chart. It'll simply show you the way it's been going up and the reason why we explained here. If you are interested in buying or getting a refinance, cash out refi, or selling a property, now's the time to do it, because again, prices are just going to continue to rise, and interest rates, they're going to be talking about this next week, whether or not interest rates are going to be going up with the Fed. Now we're hoping that, due to some of the other economic issues going on, we may see that they might not raise interest rates, or they may not raise it as much as they were talking about, but we'll have to wait and see till next week. Okay. 1% increase or decrease in rates, does mean about a 10% difference in payment, or how much you can actually afford in a home. So keep that in mind also. So we'll make sure we see you guys next week. If you have any questions, make sure you reach out to us, check out all our information below, and we'll talk to you next time. Thanks a lot.